a little change of setup. So I come across great photos on the internet and wonder as to how these were captured. There is no description, no camera settings, no raw file, no editing process, no nothing. So I fail to learn from these. That is exactly what I have decided to do. I'll be taking you through some of my best street captures so far and explaining you the process end to end. Right from the time I started towards the location to the camera settings, raw file, editing and everything in between. So hello and welcome to the 7th part of this 9 video series where I uncover some of my best captures so far. My name is Bhavik Telesra, I'm a street photographer and I've been capturing photos for more than 4 years now. So without wasting any time, let us have a look at the photo for today's video, which is this. I've named this photo Peekaboo. So it was yet another day when I was roaming around on the streets of CST Mumbai getting a few street photos. I was very happy and satisfied with the photos that I got on that day. So I decided to head back home. I started towards the railway station and on my journey back, I saw cats sitting on the footpath. Given a chance, I never miss clicking pictures of cats because their eyes look beautiful on photos. So I bent down on my knee and started getting a few pictures from the eye level of the cat. I got a few great pictures, but there was another small kitten that was a little shy and scared. It was hiding behind this iron post. I decided to capture its photo as well from the same position where I was in. I could have moved to the other side and gotten a full body shot of the kitten, but I decided not to do so. There is a specific reason for it. If I were to take a full body shot, the character in the photo would be lost. Currently, in this photo, we can clearly see that the kitten is scared, it is hiding behind the iron post, the eyes are full of curiosity. I would have missed it if I would have taken a full body shot instead. It is very difficult to get good in-focus shots of cats and dogs because they constantly move around and come closer to you to sniff the camera. Anyways, so this photo was shot on a Sony a6400 and a Tamron 17-70 f2.8 lens. And here are the camera settings. Now let us jump inside of Adobe Lightroom to edit this picture. So this is what the raw image looks like. To start with, I'll first of all compose the image properly. For that, I'll just take the crop overlay tool and bring the face of the cat a little more towards the center. That looks good. Now we can clearly see that the image is very dark. So I'll have to be a little careful while I do the color correction on this image because it can introduce a lot of noise. After the color correction, let us have a look at the before and the after. So this is the before and this is the after. Before, after. Now we'll spend some more time to make sure that our subject pops out from the background. To do that, I'll brighten and darken specific parts of the image using radial filters, graduated filters and also custom brushes. So let us start with the radial filters. I'll take a radial filter, draw a nice big mask around the cat and invert it and brighten the cat's face. Great, that looks good. Let us take another radial filter and do the same thing but inverse. I'll darken the background this time. Instantly that makes our subject pop out, but let us make it a little more even. I'll take a graduated filter and darken this section of the image. Just reduce the exposure. There we go. I'll do the same thing on the bottom section. And a third graduated filter to brighten up the part where the light is actually coming from. That looks good. I still feel that the face can be highlighted a little more. To do that, I'll have to take a custom brush and make a selection around the face. I'll click on Show Selected Mask Overlay to see what I am selecting. Let us zoom in. Let us also increase the feather quite a bit. Let us make a selection. For the sake of the tutorial, I am making a very rough selection, but usually I would take a lot more time and make it very precise. There we go. Now let us brighten it a little and I'll sharpen it as well. That looks good. Let us zoom out. Great. So this is the before and this is the after. Keep in mind, if you are editing cat portraits, there are three specific things that you always should highlight: the eye, the nose, and the whiskers. So let us start with the eye. To start with the eye, I'll have to again make a selection of the eye. I'll take a custom brush and make a rough selection of the eye here. Again, click on show selected mask overlay to see what you are doing. There we go. Now let us increase the exposure, shadows, highlights, and take the blacks down. Increase the clarity as well a little. And a little bit of saturation. Great, so that looks good. Now let us move on to the nose and the whiskers. For the nose, I'll again make a custom selection and brighten it up a little. I'll not brighten up quite a bit because the image was very dark and there is some noise in the image. So we'll try to avoid that. So now to the third part, which is the whiskers. Now it is very difficult to individually select each and every hair, so I have a little trick here. You can just take a custom brush and make a rough selection of this area and just increase the whites and the highlights a little. It will mostly affect only the hair because those are the white parts. It will not affect the background. It is a faster way to do it. If you are doing it for a print, make sure that you select each and every whisker and edit them separately. Now we can move on to the color grading. So let us scroll down to the color grading section. I'm happy with that. I've just done some basic color correction. Now let us scroll down and add some vignette to the photo. Vignette is basically when you darken or brighten the edges of the subject so that the attention goes towards the center of the frame. I'll darken the edges in that case. Now for the last step, I'll scroll down to the calibration window and move these sliders randomly and stop wherever I like the look. It gives a global color effect to the photo which ties all the colors together. Now we can clearly see that there is a distracting element which is the wrapper in the image. To remove this, I'll have to edit this in Photoshop. To do that, I'll just right click, edit in Adobe Photoshop. This will open the same file in Adobe Photoshop and whatever changes are made to the image in that file will be reflected back in Lightroom. This is pretty cool that you can switch between Adobe softwares. To start with, I'll first of all make a copy of this layer by pressing on Ctrl and J. Now let us make a selection of the wrapper so that we can remove it. For that, I'll take a pen tool and making a very rough selection around it. Right click on it and click on make selection and hit OK. This makes the selection of the area where our pen tool points were. Now click on Ctrl Shift I to invert the selection only to this region. Now let's go to edit and content aware fill. What that does is it scans the background and tries to fill that area by itself. The green area is where it is sampling from. I'll remove all the areas where I don't want it to sample from. That looks good, so let us hit OK and hope for the best. Okay, so it's done a good job but not a great job. We'll have to fix it. So I'll make a new layer and choose this color and take a brush tool and draw on top of it. Let us make it a little more precise. So I'll take an eraser tool and erase the part that we are not looking for. That looks good, but it does not look to be a part of the image completely. To blend it in even more, I'll put color lookup tables. Color lookup tables are inbuilt presets inside of Adobe Photoshop. Just come to this circle icon on the bottom and click on color lookup. You can click on any one and keep scrolling down to see all the effects. Let us scroll down. I feel this looks good, but it is a little too intense. So let me reduce the opacity. And I feel that I'll have to add another color lookup table with the filter drop blues because I prefer this one quite a bit. Let us reduce the opacity. So I hope that you enjoyed this video where we casually talk and learn more about photography while looking at actual examples. See you in the next part of the video series where we'll be having a look at this photo. You can also check out the previous videos where we've uncovered more such photos. So stay subscribed and hit the notification bell to get notified when I upload the next video. Till then, peace and bye.